I know it's only the first week of August, but with Halloween fast approaching, I thought getting the Halloween style masks out now might be a good idea so that nobody misses out because of shipping delays. So this is the most recent one we've created. There will of course be new ones coming up, but I think this is going to be a very popular offering. You can of course get it here at the Florida Maquis Mask Store, along with all of the others that I have labeled Collector's Edition. We are now up to 8 here and a grand total of 34 at the regular store. We of course have the official mask of the 2020 hoax virus that is selling like crazy. Antarctica is selling like crazy. You guys have been really great. Thank you so much for the support. I appreciate it. If you're going to have a mask, which you might as well anyway, just to be prepared, why not have a custom designed one that'll make people smile? Because I think we need that. After the first 7 months of this year, whatever we can do to get back to normal, the kids are virtually guaranteed to be going back to school. Let's start to just relax a little bit and lighten up and maybe just have a little bit of fun for a while. And on that note, I just wanted to share this screenshot. This is from my Twitch channel from last night. It was the inaugural grind, for lack of a better term. We started Middle Earth, Shadow of War. And there were only a few viewers tonight. We might try it here on YouTube and see if we can get a few more. But it's an incredibly fun game, expansive region. They did an incredible job with all of the characters and the background. You just have to watch it to believe it, or play it to believe it if you have a PlayStation. So anyway, something to look forward to. If you could follow me over at Twitch, it would be really great. I will, of course, give you all the links to Twitch, to Teespring, to also patreon.com over there. We're going to be doing the drawing for the Dixie flag masks that we only got a few of before Teespring decided it was too much to handle. And that's all I'm going to say about it. Now, on another more entertaining yet kind of sad note, I do get the Florida man meme. I really do. Live down here, and it is unfortunate that we have these guys that think the time they spend in the gym gives them license to just go do whatever they want to do. This is, of course, Jordan Goudreau, the infamous leader of Silvercorp, who just got 2 former servicemen sentenced to 20 years in Venezuela. Because, of course, his abs were mission ready. Forget doing any kind of intelligence. I mean, what could go wrong invading arguably the second most powerful military in South America with a half a dozen ragtag guys? Yeah, that didn't work out all that well, did it? No. Of course, we all know the story. Maybe if he had spent a little bit less time trying to convince schools in Florida to put spec ops in them to prevent from quote-unquote shooters, maybe he could have sat down and had an intelligence briefing saying this is a terrible idea. Maybe a little bit less time posing with war criminals and people on the run from their government. Driving around looking like you're a real businessman when really all you are is an overpaid, overblown security guard from a Trump rally has finally come home and delivered expected results. And when this is your spirit animal, I mean, when this is the guy right here who just decided, one day, hey, guess what? You know what would be great? Just declare me president. I mean, it doesn't matter if 3/4 of the world doesn't recognize me as president. I have rich friends. Yeah. How did that work out? It's just so sad. It really is just so pathetic. I mean, he might be the only quote unquote declared president that has the amount of memes that he does. Seriously. I mean, I know Obama has memes and Bush has memes, but this guy, it's just brutal. How could you look at this guy and go, yeah, if he says it's a good idea, I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna womanizing, fake, charlatan, wife at home, out carousing with women. I mean, it's just, I mean, I don't get it. I mean, I really, really don't get it. I mean, somebody brings you the idea, okay, yeah, it's great. Let's go secretly invade Venezuela. Let's pretend we're Rambo. Let's pretend the movies are real. But then when you sit down in reality and do the plan, there's just no way this gets done. And this guy should win an award for most photos looking like a deer in the headlights. 3.5 years just in the current administration. And then decades before. How you don't just take a breather on this. How you don't just take a pass on this. Speaking of Jordan Goudreau, and say, look, it all sounds good on paper, I guess. And it doesn't really even sound good on paper. I guess I'm lying. It would sound terrible on paper. But when you believe your own propaganda, and here's the best part. The U.S. and its allies, D.C., I guess I should say more correctly, Washington, D.C. and its allies around the world, declare the man president. The man gets invited to a State of the Union, where he gets a unanimous standing round of applause from both parentheses D and parentheses R alike, setting off no alarm bells. The Venezuelan government says, okay, he can't hold public office for 15 years. D.C. declares him president. And then the rest of the world said, yeah, no, he's not president. In fact, he's not even allowed to hold public office in the country. I mean, it is just so sad. And the article out today, by the way, just so everyone knows what we're talking about here. U.S. ex-commandos sentenced to 20 years in prison over a failed attempt to depose Venezuela's Maduro. 2 former U.S. military special force troopers, whatever the hell those are, who were captured in a botched attempt to infiltrate Venezuela and allegedly capture President Nicolas Maduro, have been sentenced to 20 years in prison. Venezuela's chief prosecutor announced the sentence handed to Luke Denman, 34, and Aaron Berry, 41, for their roles in the failed operation, which allegedly aimed to kidnap the country's elected leader and fly him to the U.S. Now, right off the bat there, this whole thing about dictator, if you look up the word dictator in the dictionary, any dictionary, it's someone who takes power by force. There are no elections. You see, we're actually dealing with a dictator in Nigeria right now and signing deals with an actual dictator. You can look it up. Buhari took power in a military coup. Maduro has won 2 elections. Chavez won 6. 5, pardon me. Was going to win 6 and then he passed away. And the U.S. has absolutely zero standing to talk about free and fair elections, given the mail-in nonsense going on right now and how many votes have been cooked up and bought and forged in this country in the last 20 years. It's ridiculous. If he were a dictator, he wouldn't even have an election. But another story for another day. Where were we? Kidnapped the country's elected leader for flying to the U.S., according to Tarek William Saab. The pair, both employees of a U.S. private military firm, admitted to crimes of conspiracy, arms trafficking, and terrorism, and were each sentenced to more than 20 years in prison. And they got him red-handed. I mean, they have the documents. This isn't something that's alleged. They didn't do it on their own. This goes right up to the very top in this country. And those of you questioning, like, well, why are you saying this, but you say you support Trump? If we had any other viable choice, if it was not for Black Lives Matter, I would, of course, be saying sit out. I would actually be thinking, you know what? Let Biden take over the shit show for 4 years. That was my initial opinion on this. But now, with Black Lives Matter, absolutely not. Absolutely not. They will turn this country into basically ungoverned regions of other southern continents. And I'm just going to leave it there so that I don't get demonetized any more than I'm already getting. And that's what they want. So if they hadn't done, BLM hadn't done what they've done, I would still be saying, sit this one out. But we can't. Unfortunately, we don't have the choices we had in 2016. All right. Denman and Barry, I guess they meant to say here, both decorated former U.S. military, not officers, were captured in May along with a group of fighters they had helped train after attempting to infiltrate Venezuela on boats from Colombian territory. Their plan was reportedly to kidnap President Maduro, seize control of an airport in Caracas, and fly the Venezuelan leader to the U.S. Operation Gideon was prepared by the Florida-based security firm Silvercorp USA. Bay of Piglets confirmed. It's just so sad. And I know I keep saying that, but it's cringe. It's absolutely the most cringe Florida man meme out there right now. That somebody in this country was so enamored with the mainstream media narrative about Venezuela that they really thought that all by their lonesome, without any logistics support, without any command and control, without any intelligence, without any supply, without any plan B, with no extraction, that they could just waltz in to a country like this that was our ally for decades, and the chief of their military was trained at Fort Benning, Georgia. All public knowledge. That you thought you could waltz in and overcome that security? You're literally out of your mind. You'd have a better chance of doing it with a U.S. base. And as you can see, it lasted all of 5 minutes. So, I guess I'll leave it there, but new mask. If you're interested in having one for Halloween, definitely Florida Monkey Mask Store, way to go. And if you would like to join me at Twitch, where you can follow along, and this is me in the upper right-hand corner here. I do engage. There is a chat right here that you can ask me questions about whatever you want, really. Gameplay or not, I'll do my very best to answer them on the fly while I'm playing. And so far, I think we've killed 7 or 8 captains. I haven't, the character hasn't quote-unquote died yet, so we haven't had to start over with anything. So we should be able to speed grind through. I'm getting ready. I started at level 1, and it's up to, I'm just about ready to turn over to level 5 right now. So in 90 minutes, we grinded quite a bit last night. So anyway, I will leave that there. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.